Emirates Flight 407 set off on a flight from Melbourne, Australia to Dubai in a fully loaded Airbus A340. But what was supposed to be a long but routine flight quickly turned into a nightmare. A vital human error in the cockpit led to one of the most terrifying takeoff experiences in aviation history and put the lives of the almost 300 people on board in danger. In the late hours of Friday, March 20th, 2009, 257 passengers and 18 crew members boarded Emirates Flight 407 at the Melbourne Airport in Australia. Most of the passengers had come in from the Auckland Airport in New Zealand earlier that day and were strapped in for the long 14-hour trip to Dubai. The night was mostly clear and the conditions were perfect for flying. The aircraft being used for the flight was a 5-year-old Airbus A340-500, which had an excellent safety record and could also carry out such a long journey without needing a refuel stop. Since the flight was a significantly long one, there were 4 pilots on board instead of 2. This was done to allow the main crew to rest during the flight, as the other pilots would take over during stated parts of the cruise. The relief crew were required to be in the cockpit for the entire flight, as well as the pre-flight preparations, to further ensure the safety of such a long trip. Little did they know of the dire situation that was about to befall them. While the passengers strapped in and prepared for takeoff, the pilots carried out the important pre-departure procedures. Inside the cockpit were the captain, who had just over 8,000 hours of flying experience, with about 1,400 of those coming on the A340. His first officer had similar total flying experience, but just over 425 hours on the A340. The relief captain was the most experienced with almost 12,500 flight hours. The relief first officer had about half of that. On paper, the numbers and wealth of experience in the cockpit before takeoff should have been a plus, but on this occasion proved to be the opposite. During the pre-flight preparations, there were 5 people in the cockpit, 3 pilots and 2 ground engineers. The lack of space meant that the first relief officer had to stand outside the cockpit and wait for the ground engineers to leave. While the pilots and ground engineers chatted in the cockpit, the first officer, possibly distracted by all the chatter, made a grave error. He unknowingly inputted the incorrect takeoff weight into the electronic flight bag, or EFB, which is used to calculate the takeoff performance parameters. The first officer handed the EFB to the captain to confirm the associated parameters before entering them into the aircraft system,